To write a program or to instruct a computer, we need to write a program. So what is a program? It is nothing but a set of sequential instructions. Each and every machine must have its own code or program statement to be executed. There are three types of translator: assembler, compiler, and interpreter. Dear students, welcome to Computer Science classes. I am Ravi Kumar KR, lecturer in Computer Science, Vidhyaashram PU College, Temple of Excellence, Mysuru. Students, let us start our discussion of chapter 1 in session 6. The topics: computer language. Today we are going to learn different types of computer languages and its advantages and drawbacks. And first of all, computer language. Okay, in general, what is a language? A language is nothing but a medium of communication. So here, what is a computer language? Computer language is a language where we can communicate with the computer, or it is the medium of communication with the computer. So what is the definition of this? A language understandable by the computer. Such a language is called a computer language or programming language. Okay, so what is a computer language? A language which can be understandable by a computer system, that is called computer language. And using a computer language or programming language, a user can instruct the computer what it should do. So what is the use of a computer language for us? Here it is an interface or medium of communication. Now how do we communicate with the computer? Through instructions. So we have to instruct the computer to do a task or whatever the work to be done. So accordingly we have to instruct the computer in computer language. In computer language, that is very, very important. So it is nothing but programming language. And a programming language is a set of rules called syntax, which the user has to follow to instruct the computer what operations are to be performed. So this programming language is a set of rules are called syntax. So any language, if we talk about in general, it has its own rules and regulations. Okay. Similarly, even if you want to learn a computer language, it also has its own rules, and here we use the word syntax. So computer language has its own syntax to work with. So by using this programming language or by following the syntax of a particular language, we can instruct a computer for a specific function to be carried out. So this is a computer language. Now let us move on to the next slide. And here, generally, this computer language are classified into three categories. So here, there are three types of computer languages. They are, first one is machine level language, assembly level language, and high level language. So there are three levels of computer languages which computer can understand. Now let us see these things one by one. First one is machine level language. So what is a machine level language? It is a language, it is the only language of a system, and these are nothing but a sequence of machine instructions. So here, what is a machine level language? It is a language of systems in the sense, so this is the only language computer can understand. So the meaning of the sentence is, this machine level language is the only language computer can understand, and it is nothing but sequence of machine instructions. We are going to instruct computer system. These instructions are externally represented by a sequence of zeros and ones and stored internally as a sequence of voltage levels or high or low or in RAM. What is the machine level language? This machine level language consists of a sequence of zeros and ones. So here zeros and 1, we termed it as a bits and bytes. So machine level language is nothing but a combination of or a group of bits and bytes to form a machine level language instruction. So machine level language, it is a combination of zeros and ones, and we are storing in RAM. Actually, these zeros and one generally we use the word voltage level high or low. Here 1 stands for high voltage, 0 stands for low voltage level with respect to system, computer system. And this machine level language very difficult to program and as well as debug. Now, to write a program or to instruct a computer, we need to write a program. So, what is a program? It is nothing but a set of sequential instructions. So, in order to get the things done by a computer, we have to write a program for a specific work or specific task. Accordingly, if you want to write a program in machine level language, it is very difficult because it is a combination of zeros and one. So here the user or the programmer must have a knowledge of a computer system or a hardware, and also he must be knowing the codes for each and every instructions or symbols of this computer system. So here very difficult to program, and moreover in general, as it is a combination of zeros and one, we are human beings, it's difficult to remember different number of coding or large number of codings in our memory. So that is the main drawback of this, and debugging is very difficult. What is debugging? The term debugging is referred to the check for errors and have to correct those mistakes in a program. So it is very difficult for debugging or to correct those mistakes. It takes lot of time and it requires a lot of experience and knowledge about the internal architecture of the system. That's what I have told you in this point. So here the programmer must be aware of the little bit of architecture of hardware, and also it requires a lot of experience. So these are the points about machine level language. Now let us see the examples. See, look at the example here. This is one instruction to load the data, and this is another instruction for add the content and for store the result as well as stop the work or stop execution. So if you look at all these things, all these instructions are a combination of zeros and one. Being a human being, it is very difficult to remember the codes for each and every operations in computer system. So these are the examples. Now let us see what are the advantages of this. So advantages of machine level language are machine level language instructions can directly typed and executed, and no compilation or translation is required. So this is a major advantage of machine level language. As computer can understand only machine level language, so the programmer or the user can directly type in or directly type the instructions in machine level language so that the same instructions can be executed as it is. And here we need not to use a compiler or interpreter for translation. Next, what are the main disadvantages of this? The disadvantages of machine level language are machine language instructions are machine dependent, and it is difficult to program, modify and debug errors. What is the main drawback of this? It is machine dependent. The main disadvantages of machine level language is that it is machine dependent. So what is the meaning of the word machine dependent? Here, each and every machine must have its own code or program statement to be executed. For example, if you have 10 systems, so each 10 systems we have to instruct, or the program has to be written 10 different programs, 10 different computers. So that is the meaning of machine dependent. In other words, we can say that the programs written in one computer, it cannot be executed in other computers. So that is the meaning of machine dependent. That is the main drawback of this machine level language. And also program is difficult and modifying and debugging is difficult here. So this is machine level language. Now let us see next level language, that is assembly level language. What is assembly level language? It is a symbolic language in which mnemonics, this is mnemonics, are used to code operations and characters are used for address. So this is a slight improvement as compared to machine level language. So this language, it is a symbolic language. So here this language consists of some symbols in the place of numbers or digits. So, and they are using characters for and character for address. The new programming language which uses symbolic instruction called assembly level language, and assembly level language, it uses symbolic instructions are called mnemonics. So mnemonics is nothing but symbols. So assembly level languages which uses symbols for writing instructions, and to write a program we are using symbolic instructions. And these symbolic instructions, codes of machine language, are referred to as mnemonics. Another name of symbolic meaning is mnemonics. So what is assembly level language? It is a language of symbols are called mnemonics. So this is assembly level language, and here it is slightly better than machine level language because here the user need not remember all the codes as he used to do with the machine level language. Machine level language is only a combination of zeros and one, so that is avoided in assembly level language. Now look at the example here. We are using add. This is a mnemonic code. These are called mnemonic. This is assembly level language. So here we are using add for addition, subtraction, and all these are simple examples for machine level instructions or mnemonics. In mnemonics used in assembly level language. And what are the advantages of this? Easy to remember and easy to understand, and write the assembly program, and easy to modify and debug. So as compared to machine level language, these processes are much more easier. And disadvantage, assembly level language are again machine dependent and it takes longer to code. Machine level language is also a machine dependent language. Even assembly level language is also a machine dependent language, means the programs written in or the programs written for one computer, the same program cannot be executed in some other computer. So it is also a machine dependent language. Now let us move on to next level language, that is high level languages. So what is high level language? High level languages are English-like language and are machine independent. The main advantage of high level language is that one is that it is English-like language. It is not English language, it is English-like language similar to English language. So why we say English-like language? Here while writing a program in high level language, we are using alphabets from A to Z. We are making use of uppercase and lowercase alphabets from A to Z, along with the digits from 0 to 9 and different special characters which are available on the keyboard. By making use of all these things, so we can write a program in high level language. That is why it is a English-like language. And main advantage, one more advantage is that it is machine independent. So previous two languages, assembly level language and machine level language, are machine dependent and this is machine independent. I mean the programs written for one computer, so same program can be run or execute on different computers. That is the meaning of the word machine independent. And it is easy to learn and easy to understand because nowadays we are familiar with the English language, so most of us can learn easily English language, and because of that, it is language is similar to English language, so easy for any user to learn, understand this high level language. And these are the examples: basic, COBOL, Fortran, Pascal, C, C++, and Java. These are the high level languages. So what are high level languages? High level languages are English like language, similar to English language, as nowadays we are familiar with the English language, so easy for a user to learn and understand the programming language. And also it is machine independent. The programs written in one computer, the same program can be executed in other computers. So this is high level language. And again, this high level language easy to write program and does not require knowledge of internal structure of the computer. As we have seen in machine level language and assembly level language, the user or the programmer must have a knowledge of hardware, but here not necessary. Easy to debug and modify the program. So another advantage of this. And one of the main drawback of this, disadvantages of this language, it takes more time to execute. It takes more time to execute as compared to machine level language and require more memory and becomes less efficient. So these are the disadvantages of high level language. Now let us move on to next concept, that is language translators. Here now we know that now in the previous slide we have seen different types of languages, and we know that computer can understand only machine level language. So what about other two languages? I mean assembly level language and as well as high level languages. Even the computer cannot understand assembly level language and high level language. So the programs written in those two languages has to be converted into machine level language. So why? Because computer can understand only machine level language. So if we write a program in machine level language, it need not to be converted to any other language because these are the programs can directly executed by the computer. But the programs written in assembly level language or high level language, those two, the programs has to be converted into computer understandable language, that is machine level language. So there we are using language translator. So here, what is a language translator? The language translator perform the translation of high level language program or assembly level language program to machine level language. So here what is the purpose of using language translator? Only for translation. As I told you few minutes back, here the programs written in assembly level language and as well as in high level language, these two languages cannot be understood by a computer. So it has to be translated to a machine level language. That's the only language computer can understand. So here if you look at the translator, there are three types of translator. They are assembler, compiler and interpreter. There are three types of translator: assembler, compiler and interpreter. Now let us see the definition of these three. Assembler. What is an assembler? It is a system software and it translates the programs written in assembly level language into machine level language. So we have assembler. It is a type of translator used to convert the programs written in assembly level language into machine level language, that is assembler. Now let us see what are compilers. Compiler is a system software that translates the source code written in high level language into object code which is a machine level language. So here we are using the two words source code and object code. So what is a source code? The programs written in high level language is called a source code, and it has to be translated into machine level language. So after translation, we are getting a file or a code. Those files are called object code. So what is a compiler? Compiler is a system software. It used to translate the programs written in high level language into machine level language. So here we use the word source code and object code. Source code is again the programs written in any of the high level language, and after translating high level language into machine level language, those codes are called object code. Now next one is interpreter. What is interpreter? Interpreter is a language processor that translates the instructions of high-level language program into machine-level language and immediately executes it before translating the next instruction of the source program. And please understand here, students, compiler and interpreter, both of them are used to translate programs from high level language into machine level language. But what are the difference between these two? Here in compiler, the source code, whatever the program written in high level language, at once it's going to convert all of the codes into machine level language at once. Mean at one time it converts all the codes. But if you look at interpreter, in interpreter it is not like that. So here, if all the set of instructions cannot be interpreted at once, so or it cannot be translated at once, so it translates the code or instructions one by one. Means first it converts the instruction number 1 into machine level language, then it executes the same thing. So it converts first instruction into machine level language, then executes it, then it goes to second instructions. So similarly, interpreter, it converts the high level language instructions into machine level language instructions by instructions. So it translates first instruction, execute it, then it goes to next instruction and execute the second instruction, and so on. So this is the main difference between compiler and interpreter. Students, so in this session we have discussed about computer languages and language translators. Now let us continue our discussion in my next session. Thank you very much.